And we are live for the 39th episode of the Bronx Bomber Ballad podcast. I'm your host, Matt Loves Luigi, and tonight I'm with Andrew.
Howdy, fam.
And I'm with G.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, we're all here. It's Alex isn't with us tonight, but he'll be back probably in the next couple shows. But hey, the Yankees Yankees had a great week of baseball, right? Despite Mother Nature trying to cut it short, well, did cut it short, but Yankees went 4-1 this week. It was an all AL East week. We're gonna recap the week that was, talk about the Rays series, give out our player of the week, bullpen trust list, talk about Aaron Hicks' return, Luke Voigt getting out of his slump, Glaber going deep 3 times in the same day. All that we're going to get into. But guys, how we doing? How we doing on this Sunday night?
I mean, we're in first place, man. You really can't complain
Yep,
about that. A couple ugly games the last 2 days, but I mean, you look at the standings on Monday morning, and the New York Yankees are in first place in the American League East. It's beautiful.
Yeah, ugliness aside, I mean, they won most of their games this week, and they're in first place, so it's hard not to feel too bad.
absolutely, absolutely. Let's just go through this week real quick. It's supposed to be just a normal 3 game set against Baltimore Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, right? But man, Mother Nature really just messed everything up. Game gets rained out Monday, rained out Tuesday, so the Yankees were forced to play a doubleheader Wednesday against the lowly Baltimore Orioles. The first game of the two was J Happ versus Hess. J Happ, it was another kind of mediocre start, gives up a couple homers, still goes 5 innings, 5 hits, 3 runs. But this game and this day really was about Glaber Torres. There was a lot of home runs this game. I think there was like 6 solo home runs in the first 4 or 5 innings. It was a little bit of a home run derby, but yeah, Gary goes deep in the first, Maben goes deep in the second, Glaber also goes deep in the second, and then Glaber just decides to go deep again in the fourth. 2 homers on the day. Yanks win this one 5-3. Aaron Boone just decided to use the entire bullpen really. The first game, Otto, Canley, Britton, Chappie, all were used. They shut it down. They get the win 5-3. Yeah, just I don't think I've ever seen so many homers in a game with such a low score. I mean, the first three, or I think like 6 of the first 7 runs were solo home runs. Both teams were just hitting it out, but hey, no one on base, and you get a low scoring game. But at the end of the day, Hap gets his third win of the season. He only had 64 pitches thrown, but obviously he ran into some trouble in the sixth. They had to take him out. Um, yeah, it was a good game, right? And then game two, it was a little bit of Domingo Herman on the bunk against Andrew Kashner, and it was funny because Aaron Hicks was supposed to return Monday. It was supposed to be his first game, and then all of a sudden, for the first game Wednesday, he wasn't in the lineup because you understand you don't want him to play 2 games his first game back, full 18 innings. That'd be a little dumb. He didn't have a good game his first game back. Only went 0 for 4, 3 strikeouts. But man, Glaber Torres once again going deep in the fourth off Andrew Kashner. We've said that a few times before. This was also a game where Luke Voigt got out of his slump. I believe he had 3 hits this game. He was, I think, 0 for his last 22 coming into this game. He had a big game. Herman, what can you say about the guy? Another phenomenal performance. 7 innings, 6 hits, 1 run, 8 strikeouts. His ERA now 2.41, 8-1 record. Britton and Chappie, 2 appearances on the day. They look great in both of them. Chappie gets 2 saves on the day. Yanks win 3-1. A little 2 game sweep of the last place Orioles. And guys, what was your thoughts about this day of baseball?
I mean, dude, it's the Orioles. I mean,
It is
expect
indeed the
anything other
Orioles.
than what happened. The second game, I mean, you could say it's just the second game of doubleheader. Probably a little tired. They surprisingly struggled against the guy in Andrew Kashner who isn't really that good. I mean, you look at his numbers. Actually, he's since we put the hurt on him on opening day, he's pitched fairly well. I think his last 5 or 6 starts, his ERA was barely over 3. But I was a little surprised that they struggled for some offense in the second game. But all in all, to take two wins against the lowly Orioles, that's what you have to do, and that's why we're sitting here. Most of you are going to listen to this on Monday. We're in first place, and it's because you got to take care of business. We talked about it last year with the Red Sox. They always beat up on the dog crap teams. Like that's what you got to do. So 2 wins. Obviously, Glaber had an awesome day. 2 home runs the first game, 1 in the second. Really, really nothing to complain about.
Yeah, I mean, the Orioles are a bad team. I'm not going to belabor that point, but it's still nice to see players like start to play and like start to play how we thought they were going to be playing. Like Glaber, you know, really high in contention for Rookie of the Year. Hits 3 home runs on the day. That was really good. Chapman, Britton had good days. Like I thought the thing that maybe was just a little bit annoying to me was Aaron Boone. I mean, we were commenting on like as it was happening, right? Aaron Boone, we're like, there's
Yeah.
no way that he's going to, take the guy out after 5 innings and ruin the whole bullpen in the first game. And then he did that. But I mean, it worked out.
No, the funniest thing was Hap. Did you guys? I'm sure you guys saw the comment he made post game. They interviewed him. They're like, "What'd you say when Boone took the ball away?" And Hap's like, "I just wanted to make sure he knew we had a doubleheader today," which of course he did. But it's like, what are you thinking, man? You got to preserve the bullpen just in case you need him in game 2. I thought that was like a very human nature moment by Hap.
And yeah, I said I was thinking of another game. He wasn't in trouble when he got taken out. I think he just faced the lefty, got the strikeout, and then Boone took him out. So he definitely could. I was thinking of something else, but he definitely.
And the inning before, he got 3 outs on like 7 pitches. So the end of that appearance, he was really good.
Yeah, like it's one of those things where it worked out, but like I said, I mean, they really just emptied that bullpen in the first game, and it was, did its job. You got the win. You said, all right, and you saw you had to use Zach Britton and Chapman again. Like for an inning, and they were fine. They were great. Chappie gets 2 saves on the day, so that's always nice. But definitely a bit of a risk, especially. I mean, look, Herman. I think he did that because Herman was starting the next game, and Herman's just been so awesome this year, like he was again Wednesday night. But man, if he has a blow up start, 2-3 innings, I mean, you're looking at a Nestor Cortez day, which we saw today on Sunday. It worked out, but you never want those days.
No, I mean, Boone, like, he's had a lot of good moments, and we've given him, some credit for things this year, but that was, he reverted, I feel like, to last year's Aaron Boone for a couple hours there where he just put them in a really tight spot where he didn't really need to.
Actually, I would kind of disagree with that. I think last year he would do what we were almost calling for, which is ironic in its own right that we wanted him to do stuff that we crucified him for last year, but we kind of got on Boone a lot last year for not going for the wins and kind of, trying to win every game. And he definitely went for that win in the first game. Like, you don't know what you're going to get in the second game, but he's like, I'm not fucking around in this game. I'm going to get the win right now. Whatever happens tonight, we'll worry about it then.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Let's move on to the Tampa series. The second back-to-back weekends facing the Rays. Battle for this, you come into this series within striking distance of gaining first place from the Rays, and started off Friday night with a matchup with CC Sabathia versus bullpen day for the Rays. We all know the Yankees struggled a bit with that, and that trend pretty much continued right throughout most of this game. CC, despite getting into a little bit of trouble here and there, 6 innings, 6 hits, 1 run, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts. Let up a solo homer in the 4th, but that was it. Kendrys Morales gets his first home run as a Yankee. The ball traveled approximately 800 feet. It was an absolute tank to right field. It says 417 feet. That number's clearly wrong. I refuse to believe that ball didn't travel more than 500 feet. But this one was looking pretty bleak late. Chad Green comes in, doesn't pitch well. We thought he was back on track. We were wrong. Gives up an RBI double. Then Kiermaier gets an infield single. Error by Torres. Run scores. It's 3-1 going into the 9th inning, and all of a sudden the rally Yankees. Luke Voit bomb to right center, solo shot makes it 3-2. Then the Yanks rally, get runners on. Estrada scores in a wild pitch to tie the game, and man, who else? Who else with the walk-off other than Gio Urshela, the team MVP, the brightest story, like the best Yankee story of the year, arguably. The guy just continues to rakes a ball over the center fielder's head. Frazier scores. Yankees win. First place on Game of Thrones night. What a game! What a night! Just obviously, this was the classic Yankee game where, I mean, the whole time it was looking, they were going to lose, right? I mean, even when it was 1-1, it was kind of just the offense wasn't doing anything. You had that one home run, And just the bullpen was Chirinos pitched 4 2/3 innings. Like we were getting hits off him, but just couldn't get any runs. It was just a really frustrating game. The Chad Green just doing Chad Green things, but
Ugh.
they they come away with the win. And man, you can't say enough about Gio Urshela. Just incredible. The guy, just we all know about his glove. We can't say enough about his glove, but man, he's been one of the best hitters too. Just clutch hit after clutch hit. I mean, you just love to see it.
Dude, I mean, something about the damn Rays bullpen days we just constantly struggle for. And I know, like, when you look at Ryan Stanek, he pitched in the third game of the series on Sunday, couldn't throw a strike. They did what they had to do against it. But for whatever reason, when he comes into the first inning, first and second inning, whatever, he gave up that moonshot to Morales, but that was it. Like, and then they had, forget the name of the pitcher came in, the bulk guy, and he just shut him down the whole way. It was an incredibly frustrating game for most of the night. Then you had the rain delay, and they kind of got their shit in order when they came back.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean that up to this point was probably, you would have to say, the best win of the year because of the implications. I mean, it put them in first place.
Yeah, back-to-back weekends where the Yankees and the Rays have gotten delayed, and the Yankees have come back and scored multiple rounds and either won the game or put the game away.
Right.
Very
Especially
interesting.
off of Alvarado, who's got super nasty stuff.
Yeah, it was Stanek, Chirinos, Kolarek, Castillo, and Alvarado.
Yanni Trinos, that was the guy I was thinking of.
They were showing the stats, and obviously the Rays team ERA is much higher after they gave up 13 runs on Sunday. But coming into that game, I think it was 2.79 tops in the AL. I mean, man, they have a top to bottom. They have a phenomenal pitching staff. They really do, and you really can't blame them for going bullpen days because you see what they could do. They could just shut a team down over 9 innings with multiple guys. And look, they had one of their guys go like almost 5 innings, so it's pretty much like you're having one guy still going, giving you 5-6 innings, and then you just piece it together from there. But yeah, I mean the Yankees. I mean, look, the Yankees bullpen honestly in the series was like the main guys were pretty good. Obviously Chad Green. We'll talk about Chad Green more when it comes to bullpen trust lists. I don't think he's
I'm not sure how much we'll talk about Chad
Yeah,
Green.
not lately. Yeah. On a Saturday, go on, G.
Would today qualify as the Yankees' first "quote unquote" big inning of the season?
On Sunday, I think they've had some other big innings, but that might be the most runs they've scored in an inning. But let's move on.
What's crazy too is they had like 5 walks in that inning too. Like, how often do you see that? Like a team that just absolutely blew up.
Yeah, it was especially a bullpen like that, right? They couldn't find the zone. Saturday's game, this was a pretty damn boring game to be real. Blake Snell versus Tanaka. I think that's the second time they've matched up this week. Both guys are pretty damn good. Snell, Yankees got 6 hits off him, but only 1 run, 9 strikes. It came off a wild pitch. Tanaka, phenomenal. 6 innings, 3 hits, no runs, no walks, 6 strikeouts. He gets taken out after 6. Tommy Kahnle comes in, who has been awesome all year. Gives up a solo shot to Brandon Lau. 1-1 game. The Yankees pretty much, use most of their bullpen in this one. Britton gets an inning, Chappie gets an inning, Holder gets an inning. They all do their job, but, Luis Sessa, reverting back to his old ways, gives up the homer to Meadows in the 11th. 2-1 Rays. They'd win this one. Look, it's one of those, we've talked about this so many times before. There's going to be games where this lineup is just going to kind of lay an egg. And this was one of those games, especially with a guy like Blake Snell on the hill who seems to be finding his form a bit. The Rays bullpen was just locked down. I think the Yankees got 1 hit or 2 hits off of the Rays bullpen over 5 innings. It was a tough one to watch, and the Yankees ultimately, their only loss of the week, so you'll live with it, but they ultimately come up short in this one. Then the Rays got some damn good young hitters, man. We all knew about their pitching, but they got some boppers too. They're a pretty scary team.
What really got me in the second game of the series was how lifeless the at-bats looked in like the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning.
Mm-hmm.
And then what was it? It was the 10th inning when the Rays won, or was the 11th? I don't remember. But Luke Voigt led off with the single, and then you had Hicks 3-1, and on the heels of the Friday night walk off, you're thinking like, oh my God, is this
Mm-hmm.
going to happen again? And it just didn't materialize.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like, were you guys feeling that? Like, in that moment, you're like, this is about to happen again, 2 nights in a row.
But yeah, it just wasn't there, like
Yeah.
especially with because Hicks at that point he had 2 hits on the day, so he was having a good day, but yeah, I mean this was a rough game for Gary Sanchez. He was 0 for 5 with 4 strikeouts, and the only at bat he didn't strike out was his last at bat, which he grounded into a game-ending double play, and I think they said it was the first guy to have that stat line, I think, since A-Rod, like a few years ago, so. Not great day for Gary, especially after he's just been hitting so well. But that's just the way it rolls. But yeah, man, this might have been the most boring game. Like when your only run of the game is scored on a wild pitch, you just know that there were some brutal at bats mixed in that game.
Something actually also to of note for the game. Tanaka technically left with an injury.
Yeah,
So
he got hit on the thanks for mentioning that, G, because yeah, he got hit with the ground ball on the shin. They said that the X-rays came back, just some inflammation. That he should make his next start, but you never know. I think he's scheduled to start next on Thursday during the day, so we'll see if he makes his next start. Definitely something to keep an eye on, but. God damn, it's still, the last thing this team could afford is to lose their top 3 pitchers. They've already lost Sevy for the first half of the year and Paxton for his last few starts.
And,
Well, here's the thing with Tanaka. It's not the kind of injury that he's going to miss a start. If anything, they'll just push him back a day or two, and then he's usually
Right.
good on extra rest. So they may have the bullpen day one more time, but I don't think he's going to miss a start. He may just get pushed back in the rotation, and then he'll have probably a pretty mean splitter when he does pitch. So I'm
Yeah,
not too worried.
right. Yeah, Tanaka. I don't have the numbers in front of me, obviously, but Tanaka on like 5+ days of rest is pretty damn filthy. So,
the
yeah,
only thing that was
hopefully it's
super
worst case
annoying
scenario.
about that, I guess in the context of the game, was that he was pitching really well, and then left with the injury. And although he's been great, Tommy Kahnle came in right afterwards and gave up the home run. So like Tanaka was, if I remember correctly, in pretty good shape that he probably wouldn't have been able to pitch a 7th, and who knows what would have happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right, and even if the game goes extras anyway, then like you're pushing everything back 1 or 2 innings, and then if it does get to Sessa and he does still kind of implode, then you're talking about like the 13th inning. At that point, it's kind of like, well, we gave the offense ample opportunity. So it does, obviously, it pushes everyone up a couple innings in the bullpen, and that's kind of why they burn through everything pretty early.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Let's go to the rubber match. Sunday's game, a matinee. It was Charlie Morin versus Bullpen Day, a.k.a. Chad Green, and I got some bad news for you folks. Chad Green gave up another couple homers. Kiermaier and Adams both going deep. The Yankees got a run in the first with the Kendrys Morales single. It was looking bleak early on, right? Brett Gardner hits a 2-run shot in the second to put the Yanks back up 3-2. But Nestor Cortez Jr. he was in there, and look, he's obviously got a lot of work to do, but he battled through 4 innings, right? But gives up the 3-run homer in the third. Yanks down 5-3. Morton's in there, but Yanks did pretty well against Morton. They got him out after 4. Aaron Hicks in the 4th inning gets his first homer of the season, a 2-run bomb to right center. And then in the 6th inning, the Yankees, they got not 1, but 2 runs. 2 runs on bases loaded walks, Luke Voigt and Kendrys Morales. And, Glaber gets the RBI infield single. Tyro Estrada, bases clearing double. The Yankees end up scoring 7 runs in the inning because Brett Gardner would follow up with an RBI double. DJ LeMahieu homers in the 7th. Chance Adams gets a save. Adam Ottavino gets the win for getting approximately 1 out. It's a 13-5 win for the Yankees. They win the series. They take 4 of 5 this week. 4 of 6 from the Rays this week, or in the last 2 weeks, I should say. And they're in first place. They were in first place after Friday, lost the first place lead after Saturday, and they find themselves back in first place after Sunday's game. Only by a half game, but nevertheless, 28-17 with this many injuries and this many just this many. I mean, even with your bullpen, so many guys just having blowups, like AKA Chad Green, a guy you relied on coming into the year. Just the way this team's battled is just incredible. But yeah, I mean, you were talking about. I think that might have been the most runs they've scored in an inning this year. Maybe they had an inning where they scored more runs in that game early on against Baltimore, where they scored 15 runs. But I think this was the third time the Yankees scored more than 12 runs this season. It was the second highest run total of the year, and against the best pitching staff in the AL. It's nothing. 11 earned runs off a great pitching staff. Just phenomenal game. And you get to save your bullpen. You score 7 runs in the 6th inning. You don't have to use your top guys in your bullpen, especially with a full 4-game set coming up this week. You usually have an off day Monday, but not this week. But guys, give me your kind of recap, almost your thoughts of this series against the Rays.
I mean, they did what they had to do. I mean, there's no shame in going out and losing to the reigning AL Cy Young winner on Saturday. I think more aggravatingly is that our pitcher went toe-to-toe with him, and we had an opportunity to win that game and didn't. But, I mean, this is what they got to do. They keep chunking off series wins. You take 2 of 3 against, coming into the series, the top team in the division. They've now won 4 of the last 6 games against Tampa over the last, 10 days. I mean, they did exactly what they had to do. And it was nice to see the offensive explosion to kind of just put the cherry on top late Sunday afternoon.
Just save your bullpen, man. Get to use a guy like Chance Adams. That just goes such a long way.
I'm not sure if it. I mean, I don't think it makes a tremendous difference, really, like early season versus late. But the Yankees right now just seem more prepared to play against these teams than they did maybe at the beginning of last season. And
I mean, but let's be real though. Why you mean these teams? I mean, the Rays are a damn good team. Like the Rays aren't.
No, the good teams.
Okay, I thought you meant the bad. I thought you meant the bad teams for a second.
No,
because, we talked. Okay, yeah, I just wanted to clarify that.
Yankees,
Yeah, I got you.
I feel like they seem more prepared to play against these good teams now, and I think. I mean, it's hard to say, right? Who's quote unquote better, but I think the Yankees are a better team than the Rays, and they have a feather in the cap that they get to add back a bunch of bats if all goes well, a bunch of arms and all that stuff. So that's good. I mean, I just they took care of business. They had a really good shot to win all these games, and the only one they lost was to basically the Cy Young Award winner. So hard to feel too bad about that.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, right now, this team, currently with all the injuries, the Rays probably are a bit better of a team than the Yankees, but fully healthy, the Yankees are a much better team than the Rays. But the Rays are no joke, man. That's a pitching staff that you just do not want to face over a 5 or 7 game series in October. I mean, they Snell and Morton. That's a pretty devastating 1-2 punch. I know Morton wasn't great today, but he's been pretty damn good this season, and I trust that guy to be pretty tough to hit down the stretch too.
Yeah, and they get Glasnow back in a month, who was had the best ERA.
Who was exactly. Who was probably the AL Cy Young winner through the first month and a half. So, yeah, let's go into our player of the week. This isn't player of the week, and just player of the week, the 5-game week. I'm gonna go with a bullpen guy. I'm gonna go with Aroldis Chapman. He had 3 appearances, 2 saves. On each of his appearances, he had 2 strikeouts. His velocity, I think he was hitting 101 in some of those games, 100 in another one. He just looks really good, man. He really, look, knock on wood, obviously, but really hasn't had that blow-up outing. Yeah, he's given up a home run here and there, but that's going to happen, right? You live with that. But he's been awesome. Spoiler alert, might move him up my bullpen trust list. A little sneak peek at that. But, yeah, I mean, he's my player of the week. He was getting 2 saves in the same day, looking dominant and, just as dominant in the second outing as he did the first. Chappie gets my player of the week.
For me, I'm going to go with Gleyber Torres. Mostly on the back of what he did in the doubleheader on Wednesday with the 3 home runs. But, of course, he also had the big hit on Friday night during the walk-off. I mean, I know Sterling kind of thought the ball was gone.
Yep,
did you guys hear that call?
I was listening to that.
And the ball went off the wall. It really didn't even hit the wall.
It one hop the wall.
But, I mean, that was big because that put, runners on second and third. It gave him a chance to come, to come back and hey, let me put ducks on the pond for Gio.
Yeah, and I'm going to go with Gio Urshela because he had that awesome walk-off hit, and the fairy tale continues for that. But especially when we got the news this week that Miguel Andujar was going to be having the surgery and he's going to be gone. Like, maybe once Didi comes back, you get to throw DJ over there, here and there. But Gio Urshela is going to be a part of the roster, I feel like, for a good while. And he had a couple multi-hit games. He had the game-winning RBIs, and he's still playing awesome defense. And hope that he's not feeling too uncomfortable after his incident today.
Yeah, or Urshela got
His
hit in
incident.
the cojones. Boone said he was okay. Like Kay and O'Neill were talking to Boone like right after it happened. He said he's okay. Boone's like it hurts anytime you get hit there. But yeah, I mean, look, Urshela at this point, obviously we didn't even mention that the Andujar news. Yeah, he's having the surgery out for the year. Like, look, it's like we expected it with Andujar, right? I think that's what we were saying. That's what almost I was hoping for because I kind of knew that he was going to come back and not be 100%. Just get the surgery. You're still young, but yeah, I mean, Gio Urshela is this team's third baseman. It's pretty clear the guy's been so damn good. It's his spot, and when Andujar's healthy, when he's back, then they'll worry about that. But right now, it's Gio Urshela's hot corner. Guys, anything else about your player of the week?
No.
No,
I guess not.
You know what? I'll tack on for Glaber. He made that slick play in the ninth inning today. I mean, that was smooth as hell.
Yeah, his defense has been pissing me off a bit lately. He made a bad error in the Friday game, that latter round score. But yeah, he definitely makes those smooth, slick plays. But on to what pissed us off this week. I'll start it off, and I hate when there's just not a lot of Yankees baseball during a week. And we didn't have Yankees baseball Monday. We didn't have Yankees baseball Tuesday. We didn't have Yankees baseball Thursday. And it was because of the rain. New York got pounded with rain Monday and Tuesday. No games. And, I just don't understand how all these new stadiums don't have retractable roofs. I understand that people are old timers. They want baseball to be played outside, blah, blah, blah. But God damn, I'm so sick of rain delays. It's so easily avoidable. You have a retractable roof. When there's rain in the forecast, you put the damn roof up and you play baseball. It's so simple. All new stadiums should have retractable roofs for a game played outside. I just don't get it. Rain, it sucks for people. A lot of people only go to 1 or 2 games a year. And what if the 1 or 2 games you're going to gets rained out? And you get a rain check, you get tickets to another game, but a lot of times people can't go to those other games or people just don't have time. So that's what pissed me off this week. Every stadium should have a retractable roof. Rainouts shouldn't be a thing. We're in 2019. There's science for this, people.
Especially when you pay $1 billion for this.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. You're spending so much goddamn money on these stadiums anyway. Put a damn retractable roof on it. It's so simple. I don't understand. But what am I? I'm just a podcast host.
For me, I'm going to say Boone's bullpen management, and admittedly, he did a lot of good things. Namely, the Saturday game that we lost, I thought he managed that game pretty well, and you can get on him for throwing out Luis Sessa to get the home run, but who else was he going to go to? You're going to go to Chance Adams, who may have had to start today, didn't, but you never know. You're going to go to Chad Green, who gave up 2 runs the night before, and there weren't really a lot of options. And he said that he did want to keep Ottavino for today's game, which of course he did play a pivotal role. We talked about it earlier in the show, but everything he did in that doubleheader, that first game, that was just so mind-boggling. I mean, it worked out well. They won both games, but I don't like the idea of taking the ball out of the hand of your starter, who's gone 5 1/3 with 64 pitches. They're in pretty good shape. They're facing the worst team in the division, second or third worst team in all of baseball. I mean, you don't need to burn all your arms. And again, it worked out well, and he kind of just relied on the fact that Domingo was going to go out and throw another gem, which he did, but I don't like the assumption aspect in that.
I guess I was going to have kind of a two-parter since they're both really minute, but my first one was that the Yankees had to face Blake Snell twice in 1 week. Even though they won one of those games, he struck out everything that moved in that game, which was really annoying to watch. And the other one was Aaron Boone not having Kendrys Morales in the lineup yesterday. And, I mean, that was an absolutely horrible game to watch. It was boring. They scored 1 run in 11 innings. And I know he did it to give Gary Sanchez a half a day off, but, like, he didn't even give him a pinch hit or anything. Like, especially with Clint Frazier struggling now, too. Like, they needed something in the lineup, especially the second half of yesterday's game. And Kendrys Morales, I feel like, could have maybe at least provided a decent at-bat when there weren't any to be had.
Yeah, I could agree with that. Especially after he hit a 900-foot home run, right? It should automatically qualify for the lineup. But yeah, that's what pissed us off this week. That was our player of the week. That was the recap of the week. Guys, we have our bullpen trust list ready because it is Sunday.
Ready for it.
Yeah, start it up, man.
All right, so last week I had Ottavino first, Canely second, Chappie third, Britton fourth, Chad Green fifth. Chad Green is off my list. He's 15th, actually. He's behind some guys in AAA at the moment. Nestor Cortez is way ahead of him. But my list for this week will be I'll have Holder at 5 just because I have to have a guy at 5. I'll put Holder there. He's been fine. Zach Britton will stay at 4. He's been awesome this week. I'll let G break down some of his numbers because G didn't have him on last week, which was just pretty inexplicable. But anyways, Zach Britton's been just pitching great, but I'll still have him 4th because I'll have Canely 3rd. I had him 2nd last week. The home, it's not even him. He gave up the solo home run. That didn't bother me. It's just the fact that the guy ahead of him, Aroldis Chapman, has just been so phenomenal. I have Chappie 2. I wanted to put him 1, but I just still, in terms of trust, I still just can't put Chapman 1. He's still just too much of a loose cannon out there. I still got to have him 2. Still have Ottavino 1. I've had Ottavino for everyone on my list. I'm going to keep him there. Yeah, he'll walk a guy here and there, but he's unhittable. 8 out of 10 times he comes out, no one's touching him. His stuff's just so nasty. He's 1, so Ottavino, Chappie, Canely, Britton, Holder for me this week.
All right. It's been a few weeks since I gave mine. I believe I had last Chapman, Canely, Ottavino, Britton, Holder maybe was the 4.
Sounds about right.
I think that does it. I'm going to keep Chapman at number 1. I had him before. He kind of went out and just shoved this week, so there's no reason to take him out of the top spot. And then shooting all the way up to 2nd, I have Zach Britton. I mean, again, we're going to leave it to Gene again to the numbers, but he absolutely has found his groove, and he's pushing Canely out of the number 2 spot. Canely at 3, not because he gave up the home run on Saturday. I mean, I don't even think that was a bad pitch. He is moving down a spot simply because Zach Britton forced his way that far up my list. I have Ottavino all the way at 4. His numbers are good, but recently he kind of just nibbles a lot. It kind of is a little bit like Sonny Gray. I mean, not Sonny Gray.
How dare you?
Yeah, it seems like he
does nibble a lot.
Too good of stuff. And I don't know why a guy with that good stuff has to nibble. Even that you look at that strikeout to Austin Meadows here, the bases loaded. I mean, that slider was hung. It was right in the middle of the place, and it moves a lot. So Meadows missed it by a good chunk because it's a good pitch, but the placement of it was terrible. And then I'll put Holder at 5.
So I'm crawling back with my tail between my legs a little bit because I did not have Britton on my list last week, and I'm not saying he's shooting all the way up to 1, but he's going to be on the list, and I'll give you some numbers in a minute. But my list, I'm making a slight change at the top, since I've had Chapman on the top on 1 week, and I had Canely on top last week. But I'm going to put Chapman up there because he's just been so awesome. He had a couple saves, over the doubleheader, and he even came in a tie game yesterday. And I always have my heart in my throat when that happens. And he pitched a fine inning. He was hitting 100 on the gun in the stadium. That was really cool. Chapman's been awesome this year. Canely, I guess I'll ding him just a little bit for the home run. And but him and Chapman are basically my 1 and 1A at this point. Ottavino stays at 3 because he's just got such nasty stuff, and he's been really good after that little blip, a couple weeks ago. So I'm going to put Britton in here at 4 because he wasn't on the list, and I had Holder and I had Green after he had the one really good outing, but Green's off, and I can't imagine he'll be back on anytime soon. Zach Britton, his last 7 games as of yesterday, he didn't pitch today on Sunday, but his last 7 games as of yesterday afternoon, 7 1/3 innings, 9 Ks, 4 hits, and a 0 ERA. So, based solely on the, that's an awesome stretch, and he's a hell of a pitcher. He has a really, really good body of work in his career. So we know he can be that caliber pitcher, and he could damn sure move up the list again if he keeps pitching like this. And Holder's going to go in there at 5 because, he's been mostly all right. So, and he's been better than Chad Green.
He has been better than Chad Green, and Sessa losing that game
be
Saturday.
Worse than Chad.
Sessa losing that game Saturday kind of. I mean, his Sessa's numbers are still overall like decent. I think he still has a lower ERA than Holder, but I'll still take Holder over Sessa.
Sessa was like hovering in the he could sort of like weasel his way into a 5th spot on one of these, except before yesterday anyway.
Yeah. But overall, honestly, the bullpen, these guys are starting to find it. Still haven't gotten Betances back, obviously, but man, Britton. I love watching Britton pitch. Like that sinker might be the nastiest pitch in the Yankees bullpen. It's either Britton's sinker or Ottavino's slider. Like both those pitches are just when they're on, they're just unhittable. It's 96 mile per hour.
Don't
like that.
Take anything away from Canley's changeup. That pitch is gross too.
Canley's changeup is gross too. I mean, dude, like Britton's, we all know about Britton's sinker from the unbelievable year he had with the Orioles, but yeah, I mean that thing, it's really like a sinker, and then he has like the 2-seamer, and they were talking about on the broadcast the other night, like man, imagine if he just threw a straight fastball, like he could probably hit 99 consistently, but all that movement at 95, 96 is just so tough to hit. Like that's tougher to hit than just a straight fastball that's maybe a few miles per hour faster with all that movement. That was our bullpen trust list. We'll have our next edition next week. Guys, let's wrap up the show talking about this 4-game set this week against the Orioles. Hey, we've literally only played the Rays and the Orioles the last 2 weeks. It's kind of weird. We've went 3 against the Rays, 4 against the Orioles, or we're supposed to be 4 against the Orioles. There's only 2. Then 3 against the Rays. Now another 4 against the Orioles. It's an AL East type of stretch here, but
after this week, we're gonna face Baltimore 12 times and Toronto 0 times. That's weird.
We faced Tampa 6 times, Baltimore 12 times, the Red Sox I think twice, and we don't play the Blue Jays until June 4th. So gonna have a lot of Toronto from June to September. I'll tell you that. The pitching matchups for this week against the Orioles, we have Happ versus Cashner on Monday night. Tuesday night, Herman versus Hess. CC versus Straley on Wednesday. And then we have supposed to have Tanaka versus Bundy on Thursday, but obviously time will tell. See if Tanaka makes that start. The Orioles have been awful. They're the worst team in the AL currently. It's them and the Royals, and they have one less win than the Royals. I think we've seen enough of the Orioles to know what to expect from them. Bad pitching. They'll have some games where their bats are going and they're scoring runs, but man, I just can't get over how bad their pitching is, like year after year. Like it's like the same thing every year with them. Like now they just kind of have a bad team. Like years past, like they would have a good offense and just terrible pitching. Now it's just kind of bad offense and terrible pitching. What are we expecting from this 4-game set in Baltimore?
Win 3.
I mean, I think that's the goal. Win 3 games.
Not so much as like I think they will this and that. Like they should legitimately win at least 3 of these games.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Herman versus Hess is a game that screams out to me like there's no way you should lose that game.
Yeah.
I mean, Happ Cashner is kind of a toss up. I think they're similar. Where they're going right now. But you just comes down to the bullpen. I mean, that gives us an advantage in every game. I mean, take 3 out of 4. If you get more, awesome. If they split, we're going to be unhappy next week.
It's funny because like the Yankees faced Hess and Cashner on Wednesday, and now they're going to face them on Monday and Tuesday. So that should help, right? Especially Cashner, who pitched pretty well on Wednesday night. He got the loss, but overall had a nice start. So see if the Yankees can tag him up.
Is it at all possible that Paxton is ready by the end of this road trip? Like, I think they said something to that effect that he's close, but
They
not
said
quite.
they said he might make a start in Kansas City over the weekend, but
Mhm.
I'd expect him back probably against either San Diego or Boston that next week at home. I don't know if he's gonna make a start. Kansas City would be a good team, to make a first, to come off the IL. Kansas City's the perfect team to face, but I'm not sure if he's gonna be ready by then. Hopefully he is. Good to have Aaron Hicks back. I'll say that. Had a nice home run today.
Pimped it.
Yeah, he did absolutely pimped it off Morton. Guys, anything else we want to talk about before we wrap it up here?
I mean, they had a good week, and God bless the Orioles because I'd be totally fine playing them for another 2 weeks after this.
Isn't that great when you just say, all right, who are we playing next week? Oh, 4 game set against the Orioles? Well, don't mind if I do. That sounds great because, hey, the Yankees, all of a sudden this year, they're playing good against bad teams, right? That it's still early, still a lot of time for that to change, but so far so good. They're taking care of the shitty teams, which is something they just couldn't do last year, and they still won 100 games, shockingly. But yeah, you got to
Actually,
beat up on the teams that are already 16 games below 500 in the middle of May, right? It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
But that'll be it. We're gonna have our first quarter of the year show probably sometime in the next couple of days. Be on the lookout for that. The Yankees gonna be on the road this week against the Orioles and Royals, two subpar teams, right? Two teams that they should both handily beat, but you never know with baseball, right? So for Luigi, for G, for Andrew, this was the Bronx Bomber Battle Podcast, and we'll see you guys next time.